What's up everyone, this is Scratch and I've got a video here for you. I'm going to talk about the new Xbox One Elite controller that I just got. I actually got it from the Xbox Ambassadors program. I won it on a not in a contest, but in a drawing that they had a couple of months ago. And I just got it here recently. They became available, so they sent me this and I've been enjoying the crap out of it, and I'm going to compare it to my Scuf One, my original Scuf One that I got last year. This is the older model Scuf. They've actually come out with a new one since the Xbox One Elite controller came out, because Microsoft and Scuf have actually partnered together to create this amazing piece of equipment, this amazing controller, which I'll get into that in just a minute. But Scuf actually licensed some of their technology, and they worked together with Microsoft on it. To upgrade from this to the Elite controller and then to the subsequent Xbox Scuf Infinity1, which is the newest version of the Scuf One controller, which I'll talk a little bit about at the end. But first, let's jump right into the Scuf controller, the Scuf One that I have, and we will talk about that. Okay, so if you didn't know, Scuf controllers are basically the leading controller makers and customized controller in the gaming industry. They have all of PlayStation, Xbox One, 360, and PlayStation 3, PlayStation 4, and then of course PC controllers, because you can use this. You can use the Scuf One on a PC as well. And they're the leading controller, especially in like MLG or other competitive esports. A lot of the pro gamers use one of these just like this. Well, actually, they probably use the newer ones now, but this is what they were using last year when I got it. And basically what you do is you go on the Scuf website and you can customize everything, and you can order it how you want. In this one in particular, it's all like it is. It's however I ordered it is how it came. So in fact, I got this all in white, as you can see. I got the offset sticks, and the sticks are domed on mine. You can see this. When I say offset, I mean this right stick is a little bit taller. You can adjust the trigger stops here to make the trigger short, or the trigger pulls like really short, like a mouse click almost. They're adjustable with this little handy dandy toolkit that kind of comes with it here, and I can use that to make physical adjustments to the controller itself. And then I have two paddles in the back. I could have gotten 4. Campaign's going crazy because my Scuf's touching the paddles. But I have 2 paddles. I could have gotten 4, but I just opted to go with 2 just because I didn't feel like I really needed 4. Although on the Scuf, on the Elite controller, I have 4 paddles, and I actually prefer it. But on these ones, it's in a little bit different placement, but I just have it so it's magnetically changeable, so I can just hold like a little magnet tool there, and you can map whatever you want to this that way. And it works out pretty good because you don't have to take your thumbs off the sticks if you're going to do things like melee and jump and whatever. So the other paddles I didn't really deem too necessary to have the third and fourth one, because if you're doing something like interacting with the environment, like opening a door or something like that, technically you're not like in combat, so I figured I would save the money, because it was not too expensive, but a little bit more money to get the extra 2 paddles on there. So with that being said, that's pretty much the Scuf One in a nutshell. They have updated it. The new updated version is a little bit more like the Elite controller, which we'll get into now, but first I've got to head right over here. Okay, so the bread and butter for this Elite controller lies in the button mapping, which is in the settings all the way down here to ease of access, and then you jump over here to the button mapping. And when you get into the button mapping, it's going to recognize that you have an Elite controller, and you can name it and do all this other stuff. But as you can see here, I have all of my customization that is going to go on in this is all configured through software. So instead of like breaking this all apart and using tools, if any of you have used the Scuf before, you know that you have to use the tools to like mechanically adjust everything. On the Xbox One Elite controller, it's all done in software. Now, with that being said, there are trigger stops, for example, are on these 2 little switches right here. Which you probably can't see, so we'll switch right over to this. But you can see that we have right here above the paddles, there's a little button. It's clear actually because it's green. But there's a little switch there that goes from a full trigger pull to just a half trigger pull, and they're just on the fly. You can just reach up and just move them. Everything on this controller is completely changeable, so I can take off the longer stick there that I have. I can swap these around if I want to, just like that, just that simple. It has a disc that I just dropped, and the reason I had to grab that is because I wanted to show you. I actually have one of the discs from E3 for Gears of War, which is pretty awesome. You can kind of see that there. I don't know if it'll focus, maybe. Anyways, but that's all interchangeable. It comes with a blank one. You guys, unless you went to E3, you probably don't have one of these. But what else was there? Oh yeah, the paddles here on the back, I accidentally just clicked one, but they just come right out with a magnet. Everything is held on by a magnet, and they just sit right in there really, really nice. That's a strong magnet. They fit in pretty good. And then in addition to that, you also get this carrying case right here. And then inside the carrying case are all the accessories that you could want for it. So you have your regular D-pad here, and then you have some different sticks down here, and over here there's these two. There's that stop that just fell out, and then you get a braided USB cable that comes with it. So it's all fits in there kind of nice. It has a place where you can keep this, and travel with you, take it with you wherever you want to go. And it's pretty amazing. One of the other cool things here is the switch on the front, as I can switch between settings that I have on it. So let's just jump back in here to the full zoomed out view. If I move this, you'll see that the blue jumps over on the top. Now it's on Halo 5 Guardians Multiplayer, and if I go back, it's set to default. So Halo 5 Guardians Multiplayer actually has custom settings in the controller well, this one came pre-configured, but you can pre-configure your own, which I'll get to. And then I can just jump between them on the fly, something that I can't do with the Scuf, or I believe on the Infinity1 as well. But let's jump into the configure. So of those two configuration, I have these two slots. So I have right now default, which is just a regular default controller, and then I have the Halo 5 Guardians Multiplayer. And then as you can see, I have a Rainbow Six Siege one, which has some different customizations. Titanfall is another one that I made, has different customizations. And then it comes pre-programmed with the Forza Motorsport 6, manual with a clutch, Gears of War, Halo 5, there's campaign, multiplayer, and a Sunset Overdrive one. And then of course you can make any one that you want. So instead of going to new configuration, I'm just going to go to config 1, and I'm going to edit. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to have like button mapping, so I can say the A button maps to the B button if I want, or I can say, for example, if I go all the way down here, I can have the upper left paddle. I want the upper left paddle to be, say, a right stick click. So I can do that, and you can see that it changes on here to show that a right stick click is for the upper left paddle. The sticks are even more customizable. So you can see here that I have it in a smooth, instant, and there's aggressive. There's a little bit of a delay, and there's a default. So what we're going to do is I'm going to jump over here, and we're going to come down here to something that probably none of you use, but you should. We're going to jump over to help, and it's going to explain what these configurations are for the sticks. I think it's important because this is something that you're not going to be able to do on the Scuf. So if I go to configuring an Elite controller, and we're going to jump down here to stick sensitivity. So we have a delay, which has input lags. So the input lags behind the stick movement. Aggressive is input is ahead of the stick movement. Instant, the input hits max with the slightest stick movement, and then smooth, where the input is slightly ahead of the stick movement at first, and then the lags as it approaches the max. So that way it just kind of stops. So it just makes it just a little bit more precise. I actually prefer the smooth. And if we switch over here, you can actually see how that works. Where the white goes is where the input stops. The instant, it goes all the way right away. And I can adjust that. I can make it a little bit more, tight, make it a little bit more loose, a little bit more laggy, however you want to put that. So yeah, so you have all of these, different things that you can do with both sticks, the right and the left stick, which is pretty awesome. And then we can also do it with the trigger. So you can see here on the left trigger, a full trigger pull, it's already like 10% to 35%, for example, is a full trigger pull. And then if I want to adjust the physical, I don't have to, I can use that. But it doesn't really affect the pull very much. It only affects the physical pull, but the input on the controller is still registered like right away. So that's pretty cool, which I think we can actually see that and help as well. So let's jump back out here. So trigger sensitivity. If you'd like a hair trigger in shooting games or go to full throttle quickly in a racing game, you can move the second slider up, and the max input will be set closer to the beginning of the pull. Likewise, if you want a little lag, move the top slider down. Pull the trigger slowly to test, and the white lines show where the pull input is sent, and the open circle in your color will fill in as you approach max. So that circle is what you see down there at the bottom. So it's actually kind of cool. You can, if you want a physical hair trigger where the trigger is stopped by the hardware partway into the pull, flip the green hair trigger switches on the back of the controller. So that's right here, which I was just saying. You can adjust the sensitivity, but if you want to physically feel it, you can adjust these a little bit. But the best adjustment is actually taking place in here in the configuration. So we'll just jump out of here for now. So that's actually pretty cool. And then we have vibration, where we can have vibration on and off if we want. And then the Xbox guide button in the middle has a little bit different brightness, if you want to do that too. And then once you get all done, you have your configuration saved. And of course, we saved it as config 1, but you can save it for whatever game you're going to be playing. So that's actually really, really awesome. Like just being able to jump between them. For example, I can play on default, and then somebody messages me and says, hey, let's play Halo 5, and I've already set. I just move this over to 2, and I'm set to play Halo 5 Guardians, and all my changes are going to take place between the sticks and the buttons and everything that I have set. So it's pretty awesome. I definitely whoops, I didn't mean to do that. I definitely recommend this. I think that over at least the Scuf One, if you have a Scuf One, this is definitely a huge upgrade that I would definitely recommend. I think you'll really like it. You probably won't go to any other controller. These cost about $150, which is kind of steep, but not really when you consider what you're getting, and the controller build quality and the weight and everything. It just feels it's perfect. It's honestly one of the best controllers I've ever held in my life. It just fits perfect. One other thing I did want to talk about though, the Scuf One was updated, so you can't interchange these like on my old one, and you got to use the tools to adjust them. So that's a huge advantage on the Elite. But the Scuf Infinity1, which is the newer one, it does have interchangeable paddles, and it does have interchangeable thumbsticks, and you can adjust it. You still have to adjust the triggers manually, but you can do that with a key through the controller. You don't have to take these side pieces off. There's like this side piece, if I don't break it. This side piece pops off, and then you just use your tool to go in there and adjust it. On the Scuf Infinity, you don't have to do that. You don't have to take it apart, which is a huge improvement in my book. That you can just use the key, and there's a little hole in the handle, or a little hole in the grip for you to do it. So, but one thing to keep in mind, the Scuf Infinity it starts off at about $150, but the difference is going to be that if you're going to customize it up to everything that this thing does, and customize it all the way up so that you have the 4 paddles and all of the interchangeable sticks, and a bigger D-pad like this, like a big open pad like that. it's going to cost you about $260. I went on their website and I took a base model, Scuf Infinity, and I customized it so that I would have all of the stuff that comes with an Xbox One Elite controller. And it was about $100 more. So that's something to keep in mind. I don't know that there's a huge advantage of going with the Scuf over the Elite. You're supporting the company either way you look at it because their technology is used in the Elite controller. So I'm not entirely sure because I don't have an Infinity1, but I'm not entirely sure what the advantage would be. I would say that it's a huge plus that you can come in and do the software upgrade, or I'm sorry, not upgrade, but the software adjustments to this controller and then save your configurations for jumping between games, whereas pro players usually only play one game, so it might not matter to them as much as it does to like a hardcore gamer, but maybe not quite pro. So I think pros will probably still stick with the Scuf One, or the Scuf Infinity1. I keep calling it the Scuf One. It's not. It's the Infinity1. I think pro players will probably stick with that, but I wouldn't give this one. I wouldn't give this one a pass because I think with everything that you get in this, for $100 less, you pretty much have the same controller. So it's something to think about. Just in case you're wondering, the price differences upgrades of where you get that $100 extra is they charge you extra if you want to remove the rumbles. They charge you extra if you want to have programmable pads on the back, the 4 paddles. If you want them to be programmable, then you have to pay extra, or they just come standard ABXY. But if you wanted to program them, you would have to pay the extra to get the key to program it, so that adds money to it. You don't get this flat disc of a D-pad. You have to order that separately, so that costs a little bit extra, which adds to the price. You don't get all of the interchangeable sticks that you get when you order or when you get an Xbox One. You don't get a braided USB cord. You don't get a case. If you want to buy all of that stuff, it's extra. It's like comes in a kit. It's like $80 for just that kit. That gives you a case and all the different rings and sticks and everything to interchange. It is interchangeable, like on the fly. I don't know if it comes apart quite as easy as just picking it up off of a really good, strong magnet. But from the video, it looks like it's pretty easy to do. So I think for me, I'm going to stick with the Elite controller. I really love and I'm going to miss my Scuf, but I'm just going to enjoy their technology in the Elite controller and call it good there, because the $100 extra, I just don't see where the difference would be. Unless I was a pro gamer making all kinds of money and they probably send me one for free anyways, then it might be different. But for now, I'm sticking with this. So that's all I've got. If you guys have any questions or if you want to know anything more, the reason that the background is jumping around is because every time I set this down, it pushes the paddles. But other than that, it's a pretty badass controller, and I definitely would recommend it. It's definitely worth paying just, not almost double the price. It's like double what a regular controller costs, and plus a little bit more. But you're getting so much more with it, especially just the ability, to change it and enjoy it. So I think it makes a pro out of everybody. So thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoy it. If you have any questions, again, just leave a comment down below, and I will see you guys all in the next video. Thanks.